Akadosh Boker Or, I wanted to share with you a beautiful idea that is brought down in the Yonatan ben Oziel at the end of this week's parasha. We know at the end of this week's parasha, there's a story with Miriam speaking to Aaron, her brother, about Moshe Rabbeinu. And here we see that Moshe Rabbeinu, besides being called Moshe Avdi, that he is my servant, and we see the humbleness of Moshe Rabbeinu, that no matter if they actually spoke against him, right? He was 100% forgiving. We see the power of tefillah when he comes and he prays for his sister. And we see the Lashon Hara that it brings a tzarat onto Miriam, that she became mitzorat. And all of Klal Yisrael have to wait for 7 days. Right? Alotika shivat yamin. Mamash, 7 days. Millions of people have to wait for her. Think about it. 600,000 men is just men from 20 to 60. So imagine how many, we're talking about millions of people are waiting for Miriam in order to continue their journey. And Yonatan ben Oziel comes and he says an incredible yesod. He says, in what merit did Miriam have that everybody waited for her? And Yonatan ben Oziel comes and he says, the merit was because she waited for Moshe Rabbeinu. What does that mean? We know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born, right, 3 months early. And when he was born on Zayin Adar, 3 months early, what happened was when it passed 3 months, it was Shavuot, right? Remember, Zayin, you have Adar, Nisan, Yar, Sivan, Shavuot. When it came Zayin of Sivan, which was Shavuot, the light was too strong because obviously of Matan Torah, which was supposed to be on Zayin Sivan. At the end, it became on Vav, but it was supposed to be on Zayin Sivan. And then what happened is that the light was, she couldn't hide him anymore. She couldn't hide him. So therefore, she had to put him in a basket, in a reed basket, and put him by the Yam Suf. What happens is that Miriam is watching on the side. Tosafot says in the Gemara something incredible. We know that Midat Tova is greater than Midat Puranut 500 times. So in the Tosafot, it comes and makes a calculation. How long did Miriam wait for Moshe Rabbeinu, watching on the sidelines to see what's going to happen? Right? He's there. We want to see she wants to see what's going to happen. Who comes? It was obviously Bitya, the daughter of Paro. And she comes, she goes to bathe in order to come into, whether it's to convert, as Rashi already brings down. And then what happens is that she sees the Jewish child and she brings him in. She adopts him. And then Miriam comes and she says, but she's coming and trying to bring him to feed by all these different women. Didn't want to feed by anybody. She comes and she says, I have a meneket ivrit. Who's meneket ivrit? The mother. So it comes out now that the mother is going to be paid to nurse her own child. Because that's exactly what happened. Right? Miriam brought Moshe Rabbeinu to the mother. And the mother came and the mother fed him. And she was being paid by the kingdom to feed her own child. Yeah, and then he was going to grow up with Bitya. Fine. How long did Miriam wait? So Tosafot makes a calculation that she waited 15 or 20 minutes for her brother Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, says Yonatan ben Oziel, look what's going on. If right now, right, the person is going to come and they will do an action, a mitzvah. Now, this is for her brother. We're not talking about even for a stranger, for her brother. And this is the reward that they have to wait for 7 days, legions and legions, for Miriam and Neviah because she waited 50 minutes for her brother. Then you're going to tell me it was because it was Moshe Rabbeinu. But even without that, because it comes out that when a person comes and he does a mitzvah, they do not understand the reward of a mitzvah. The reward of a mitzvah is so immense, it's so great, that we cannot fathom. We don't understand. For us, it's just, we come and say, a big deal. No. You know what it is, a shiur Torah? You know what it is, every single word of Torah that a person learns? It's something that you can't understand. So because of that, he comes and he says, right, that was the merit that Miriam and Neviah had. Miriam and Neviah did not marry because of her nevuah. She did it. She only married it for one reason. She waited for her brother for 15 or 20 minutes. The entire Bnei Yisrael are going to wait for her for 7 days. That is the power of a mitzvah. Sometimes we don't realize that a person comes and they wait for somebody. They do chesed. They wait behind for them. They want to give them a lift. They want to do something. They want to do something else. And then they realized that they thought that they were doing themselves, they were doing somebody else a favor. And they didn't realize that it was only because that they did that favor, that the favor was being done to themselves. It wasn't for somebody else, it was for them. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu many times shows us how many times your reward is enormous. But it's only because we did the mitzvah. But we don't know the value of the mitzvot. The mitzvot are too strong for us to know. And every mitzvah has such a power. Do you know Moshe Rabbeinu later on is going to be afraid of Og Melech HaBashan? What was Og Melech HaBashan? What was he afraid about? Right? So the Midrash already brings down that Og Melech HaBashan came and he told, right, Avraham Avinu that Lot was captured. And therefore he had to go and to save Lot. From the fact that he went and he did a favor to Avraham Avinu, he went and he did a favor to them, right? He was afraid. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid. Why? Because when you come and you do a mitzvah, you don't understand what it is, the power of a mitzvah. Yaakov Avinu comes and he's told, right, that Esav is coming. Now Yaakov Avinu, Tariag mitzvot shamarti. He kept every mitzvah in the book. Not only did he keep every single mitzvah in the book, Hashem told him, I'm going to protect you. And Yaakov Avinu was afraid. Why was he afraid? You know why he was afraid? Because Esav had a mitzvah, and a very powerful mitzvah, Kibud Avayim. He was afraid that that mitzvah would overpower him. Now, if you think about it, how could that be? Yaakov Avinu did every mitzvah in the book. And even the Kibud Avayim, he also did. There's a whole question, how was it? Was it really Kibud Avayim? Was he patur from Kibud Avayim? What exactly happened? Because really his parents told him to leave. But at the end of the day, Esav has a mitzvah. And that mitzvah is very powerful. He needs to get paid back. So he was afraid. He was very, very afraid. Why? Because what am I going to do with that mitzvah? He's done a mitzvah. Well, how do I counteract that? And this is the power of a mitzvah. For us, we need to learn that every single action that we have to do more mitzvot and run it. Rabbi, that sheikanes Torah lechupal maasim tovim. He says, 1 second, if you already said sheikanes Torah, so maasim tovim are already there. He says, no, it's two completely separate things. One of them is the Torah, one is that you want to do the Torah. You want to do good actions. You want to do Torah mitzvot. Yeah? Torah mitzvot chupal maasim tovim. So again, this is the message that a person should always remember. A person should always remember that no matter what, recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the mitzvah, but we have to love the mitzvah. We have to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu no matter what we want to do it. And we never understand the power. We come, we do an action, we think, big deal, what did we already do? No. We don't know the power of every single one of our actions. And we could do tremendous amounts, and we don't even pay attention. But that's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu many times will show it to us. It could be maybe not now. Sometimes it might after 120. Or sometimes, you never know. I went to a wedding in Toronto. And there was a boy from the community here that now I don't even know if he lives here actually. Because he's not really part of our keilah. But he came up to me in the wedding. And it was in front of another rabbi that he actually has a certain connection with me that I actually taught him. And he comes and he says, Rabbi, I wanted you to know the following. He says, I used to every single Sunday look forward to your teenager program. Yeah. And even if I was in the mall and I was doing shtiyot and I was doing averot and everything that you wanted, I would leave that and I would want to come to listen to your shiur. So I wanted to thank you that it had an influence on me. And I do believe that where I am today, there's something there because of you for sure. It gave me a lot of chizuk. Why? You're thinking to yourself, you have a teenager program. You have a whole bunch of boys coming. They're all sitting down. They're enjoying themselves. We used to get them the best food. Right? That was a secret. The best food. We used to have them all sitting down, enjoying themselves. They used to come from other kehilot. Right? They used to come to our teenager program. And that's this boy. And he comes and he tells me, I don't know how many years afterwards, because I haven't given that program for a few good years. And now he comes and he tells you, by the way, it had an effect. Because we never know what has an effect on us or an effect on other people. But that's why what we're obligated to do always, though, is always just make sure that you continue doing Torah mitzvot. Because it will have an effect. And there's an immense reward. Don't do it for the reward. Do it for the love of Hashem. But for sure, pay attention that you continue always doing Torah mitzvot. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.